Good evening. This is All India Radio. I am Nishit Kumar, and with me is Saira Mujtaba with the evening news. The headlines. Prime Minister Narendra Modi asks SCO member states to fight against increasing radicalization, which is the root cause of problem for the region. SCO member states stress on the need of an inclusive government in Afghanistan, reaffirm the need to set up joint efforts to prevent terrorism and its financing. India achieves extraordinary feat by administering over 2 crore COVID-19 vaccine doses in a single day, marking the 71st birthday of Prime Minister Narendra Modi. Home Minister Amit Shah says team at the central government is moving ahead with a comprehensive vision which includes development for all. Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman chairs the 45th meeting of the GST Council. GST reduced from 12% to 5% on cancer drugs and 7 other medicines. Reduced rates on COVID medicines extended till 31st of December. I&B Minister Anurag Thakur calls for collective and synergized initiatives for comprehensive socio-economic development of Himachal Pradesh. And India will take leading position in production of millets, says Agriculture Minister Narendra Singh Tomar. As the nationwide free COVID-19 vaccination campaign at government facilities for those above 18 years is underway, we advise our young listeners to get vaccinated and also help others get vaccinated. We also advise our listeners not to lower their guard as COVID-19 remains a threat to our health. Please stay at home unless it is essential to go out and continue to follow these 3 simple steps. Wear a face mask, maintain 2 gaz ki doori for social distancing, and focus on hand and face hygiene. For any COVID-related information and guidance, contact national helpline numbers 011-2397-8046 and 1075. And now the news in detail. Prime Minister Narendra Modi has said that the root cause of problems facing Shanghai Cooperation Organization region is increasing radicalization. He said recent developments in Afghanistan have made challenges posed by radicalization more clear. Addressing the plenary session of the 21st meeting of SCO Council of Heads of State through video conferencing, Mr. Modi said the biggest challenges in the region are related to peace, security and trust deficit. He said fight against radicalization is not only needed for regional security and trust, but also to ensure bright future of the youth.
एससीओ की 20वीं वर्षगांठ इस संस्था के भविष्य के बारे में सोचने के लिए भी उपयुक्त अवसर है। इस क्षेत्र में सबसे बड़ी चुनौतियां शांति, सुरक्षा और ट्रस्ट डेफिसिट से संबंधित है और इन समस्याओं का मूल कारण बढ़ता हुआ रेडिकलाइजेशन है। अफगानिस्तान में हाल के घटनाक्रम ने इस चुनौती को और स्पष्ट कर दिया। इस मुद्दे पर एससीओ को पहल लेकर कार्य करना चाहिए।
The Prime Minister said SCO should work to develop strong network among the moderate, tolerant, inclusive institutions and traditions associated with Islam. Mr. Modi said traditions like Sufism flourished over the centuries and spread throughout the region and the world.
भारत में और एससीओ के लगभग सभी देशों में इस्लाम से जुड़ी मॉडरेट, टॉलरेंट और इंक्लूसिव संस्थाएं और परंपराएं हैं। एससीओ को इनके बीच एक मजबूत नेटवर्क विकसित करने के लिए काम करना चाहिए। इस संदर्भ में मैं एससीओ के रैट्स मैकेनिज्म द्वारा किए जा रहे उपयोगी कार्य की प्रशंसा करता हूं। भारत ने एससीओ रैट्स की अपनी अध्यक्षता के दौरान जो कैलेंडर ऑफ एक्टिविटीज प्रस्तावित की है, उन पर हमें सभी एससीओ पार्टनर्स के सक्रिय सहयोग की अपेक्षा है।
The Prime Minister said New Delhi is committed to improving its connectivity with Central Asia as it believes that the landlocked Central Asian countries can benefit by connecting to Indian markets. He said India's investment in Iran's Chabahar port and its attempts in international north-south corridor supports this. Mr. Modi said SCO member states must encourage the talented youngsters towards science and rational thinking. He said the countries can bring the startups and entrepreneurs together to make the innovative spirit. The Prime Minister said, with same thinking, India organized the first SCO Startup Forum and SCO Young Scientist Conclave last year.
विकसित विश्व के साथ प्रतिस्पर्धा के लिए हमारे क्षेत्र को उभरती टेक्नोलॉजी में स्टेक होल्डर बनना होगा। इसके लिए हमें अपने प्रतिभाशाली युवाओं को विज्ञान और रेशनल थिंकिंग की ओर प्रोत्साहित करना होगा। हम अपने एंटरप्रेन्योर्स और स्टार्टअप्स को एक दूसरे से जोड़कर इस तरह की सोच, इस तरह की इनोवेटिव स्पिरिट को बढ़ावा दे सकते हैं.
At Dushanbe, India is being represented by External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar. Dr. S. Jaishankar met his Belarus counterpart Vladimir Makhey on the sidelines of the summit. In a tweet, Dr. Jaishankar said India and Belarus's economic cooperation has progressed visibly and is looking forward to further growth of ties. The SCO member states have expressed their support for Afghanistan as an independent, neutral, united, democratic and peaceful state free of terrorism, war and drugs. In the Dushanbe declaration adopted after the SCO meeting, the member states exuded belief that it is critical to have an inclusive government in Afghanistan with representatives from all ethnic, religious and political groups of Afghan society. The member states strongly condemn terrorism in all its forms and manifestations. They reaffirmed the need to set up joint efforts to prevent terrorism and its financing. They will step up their efforts to prevent the preparation and financing of acts of terrorism in their territories and deny terrorists safe havens, enhance cooperation to identify, prevent and suppress the activities of organizations and individuals involved in terrorism, separatism and extremism. The member states emphasize the importance of sharing experiences on the design and implementation of national development strategies, digital economy plans and the adoption of innovative technologies. They stress the need to increase mutually beneficial cooperation in the energy sector, including the wide use of renewable and alternative energy sources, and support the application of various cost-effective and environment-friendly technologies.
Health Minister Mansukh Mandavia has said that the country has crossed the historical figure of 2 crore vaccines in a day, setting a new record. In a tweet, he said this is a gift to Prime Minister on his birthday on behalf of the health workers and the countrymen. Meanwhile, the country reported over 34,000 new cases of COVID-19 in the last 24 hours. The Health Ministry said in a statement that India's active caseload is currently 3,39,056. The ministry said over 37,000 people recovered from the infection in the last 24 hours, taking the total recoveries to more than 3,25,98,000. The recovery rate currently stands at 97.65%. Prime Minister Narendra Modi turned 71 today. President Ramnath Kovind, Vice President M. Venkaiah Naidu and Home Minister Amit Shah have greeted Prime Minister Narendra Modi on his birthday today. BJP President JP Nadda launched Seva aur Samarpan Abhiyan at party headquarters in New Delhi to mark the occasion. He also inaugurated an exhibition and a blood donation camp on the occasion. Bihar Chief Minister Nitish Kumar launched a mega COVID vaccination drive to vaccinate 30 lakh people across the state today on the occasion of Prime Minister Narendra Modi's birthday. Information and Broadcasting Minister Anurag Thakur also greeted the Prime Minister on his birthday. In a tweet, Mr. Thakur said, Prime Minister Narendra Modi's leadership has brought an action-oriented approach to governance, targets with timelines, along with transparency in policy making, transforming livelihoods and impacting lives. It is also an occasion to celebrate Prime Minister's 2 decades of service and dedication for good governance as Chief Minister and Prime Minister. During these 20 years, Prime Minister Modi left his indelible mark on the life of crores of people through his relentless efforts to address fundamental problems facing the poor. All India Radio will present Prime Minister Modi's contribution to various sectors in the coming days. The day marks the journey of the man hailing from Vadnagar in Gujarat with a very humble background who evolved into the great persona that he is today through his dedication and hard work. His 20 years are the story of a leader who has emerged from the grassroots. Prime Minister Modi is not a leader who was guided by any fixed theory. His governance model is unique because it emerged from his own experiences. From toilets to Mangalyaan, his canvas of initiatives is very vast. In our special series, Jan Jan Ki Baat, we shall bring you quotes of Prime Minister Narendra Modi on various initiatives and ideas that have changed India over the past 20 years. Digital India is transforming the country into a digitally empowered society and knowledge economy. The Prime Minister said the vision of minimum government and maximum governance will be fulfilled with Digital India.
मिनिमम गवर्नमेंट मैक्सिमम गवर्नेंस के सिद्धांतों पर चलते हुए सरकार और जनता के बीच, सिस्टम और सुविधाओं के बीच, समस्याओं और सर्विस के बीच गैप कम करना, इनके बीच की मुश्किलें खत्म करना और जन सामान्य की सुविधा बढ़ाना ये समय की मांग रहा है और इसलिए डिजिटल इंडिया सामान्य नागरिक को सुविधा और उनके एम्पावरमेंट का एक बहुत सशक्त माध्यम है। डिजिटल इंडिया ने ये कैसे संभव किया है, इसका शानदार उदाहरण है डिजी लॉकर। स्कूल के सर्टिफिकेट, कॉलेज की डिग्री, ड्राइविंग लाइसेंस, पासपोर्ट, आधार या दूसरे दस्तावेजों को संभाल कर रखना हमेशा से लोगों के लिए बहुत बड़ी चिंता रहती। कई बार बाढ़ में, भूकंप में, सुनामी में कहीं आग लगने की वजह से लोगों के जरूरी पहचान पत्र नष्ट हो जाते हैं, लेकिन अब 10वीं, 12वीं, कॉलेज, यूनिवर्सिटी के मार्कशीट से लेकर दूसरे तमाम दस्तावेज सीधे डिजी लॉकर में सहज रूप से रखे जा सकते हैं।
Himachal Pradesh Chief Minister Jairam Thakur today congratulated Prime Minister Narendra Modi on his 71st birthday on behalf of the people of the state. He said under the leadership of Prime Minister Modi, the country has been progressing leaps and bounds. Union Home Minister Amit Shah will launch the Ujjwala 2.0 scheme tomorrow during his day-long visit to Madhya Pradesh. Mr. Shah will also address the tribal community of the state and participate in various other programs. Prime Minister Narendra Modi launched the second phase of the Ujjwala cooking gas scheme on 10th of August this year. More from our correspondent from Jabalpur.
Ujjwala 2.0 scheme aims to cover 10 million more beneficiaries in the second phase of the scheme. Under Ujjwala 2.0, migrant workers can avail a free cooking gas connection on the basis of a self-declaration without any need for documents like address proof. Ujjwala 2.0 aims to provide deposit-free LPG connections to low-income families who could not be covered under the first phase of PMUY. In Ujjwala 2.0, the beneficiaries are also being provided with a stove free of cost. Under the scheme, the first gas cylinder is free worth over rupees 800. Sanjeev Sharma, AIR News, Jabalpur.
You are listening to the evening news on All India Radio. A reminder of the headlines before we move on. Prime Minister Narendra Modi asked SCO member states to fight against increasing radicalization, which is the root cause of problem for the region. SCO member states stress on the need of an inclusive government in Afghanistan, reaffirm the need to step up joint efforts to prevent terrorism and its financing. India achieves extraordinary feat by administering over 2 crore COVID-19 vaccine doses in a single day, marking the 71st birthday of Prime Minister Narendra Modi. Home Minister Amit Shah says team at the central government is moving ahead with a comprehensive vision which includes development for all. Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman chairs 45th meeting of the GST Council. GST reduced from 12 to 5% on cancer drugs and 7 other medicines. Reduced rates on COVID medicines extended till 31st December. I&B Minister Anurag Thakur calls for collective and synergized initiatives for comprehensive socio-economic development of Himachal Pradesh. India will take leading position in production of millet, says Agriculture Minister Narendra Singh Tomar. For quick news updates round the clock, follow us on our Twitter handle @AIR News Alerts.
चलो मिलकर एक शुरुआत करें, चलो एक फैसला आज करें, मास्क नहीं तो टोकेंगे, कोरोना को रोकेंगे, चलो एक इरादा करते हैं, चलो कुछ वादा करते हैं, मास्क नहीं तो टोकेंगे, कोरोना को रोकेंगे।
Welcome back. You are listening to the evening news on All India Radio. Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman today said reduced GST rates on COVID medicines have been extended till the 31st of December from 30th September. Briefing media after the 45th meeting of the Goods and Services Tax GST Council in Lucknow, Ms. Sitharaman said,
The concessional GST rates on corona-related medicines, you're aware that there was a GOM formed. They went into which are these items for which there should be concessional rates provided. So after that, that was a set of medicines given this concessional rate, and that was applicable till probably September 30th. We have now extended that list of medicines till December 31st, 2021.
The finance minister said Zolgensma and Viltepso are two very expensive and important drugs which cost around 16 crore rupees. She said the council has decided to grant exemption from GST for these two. The council also reduced GST from 12 to 5% on cancer-related drugs and 7 other medicines. GST was also reduced on biodiesel from 12 to 5%.
Some of the outstanding decisions have been taken. On the good side, you all know that in the last 1 year, and probably a bit earlier than that, some life-saving drugs which are not connected with corona, which are very expensive, which affect children and so on, like the muscular atrophy. So in those situations, the entire process of coming up to the finance minister, who is otherwise authorized by the council to give exemptions, does consume time. And as a result, many of the children are really going through, and the parents are going through a lot of tension whether it will be available, because the drug itself costs several crores, and over that the taxation is very severe. So exemptions have been given for such drugs. There won't be any tax GST on them. I am giving the name of two because those two are very imported, very expensive drugs. Zolgensma is one, and Viltepso. These are two very important drugs which are probably costing even something like 16 crores. So the council has decided to grant exemption from GST.
GST on retrofitment kits for vehicles used by Divyangs has been reduced to 5%. GST rate on fortified rice kernels, which can be used in schemes like Integrated Child Development Services Scheme, has been reduced from 18% to 5%. Hyderabad Liberation Day is being celebrated in Telangana today to mark the historic accession of princely state of Hyderabad into the Indian Union. 13 months after India achieved its independence on this day in 1948, the last Nizam, Mir Osman Ali Khan, announced ceasefire and agreed for accession in India when the Indian Army took Operation Polo.
Union Home Minister Amit Shah has made it clear that the team at the central government is moving ahead with a comprehensive vision which includes development for all. Addressing a public meeting held at Nirmal town commemorating the Telangana Liberation Day today, he said the government under the leadership of Prime Minister Narendra Modi is performing better on every front. Referring to development in the state, Mr. Shah said the central government is leaving no stone unturned in the development of Telangana. He slammed the ruling TRS government for not holding Liberation Day celebrations officially, while the Karnataka and Maharashtra governments are celebrating it. Marathwada Mukti Din is being celebrated in the districts of Marathwada region in Maharashtra. Maharashtra Chief Minister Uddhav Thackeray visited Aurangabad and paid tributes to the martyrs of Marathwada Liberation Movement who had sacrificed their lives to free the Marathwada region of Maharashtra from the clutches of the Nizam. The Chief Minister announced various schemes for the development of the region.
Union Minister for Information and Broadcasting Anurag Singh Thakur has called for collective, synergized, unified and proactive initiatives to work for the comprehensive socio-economic development of the state of Himachal Pradesh. He was speaking at a felicitation function for all former and sitting legislators and parliamentarians at Library Hall of Himachal Pradesh Vidhan Sabha. The function was organized after conclusion of special session of the State Legislative Assembly in Shimla today on the occasion of the Golden Jubilee of the statehood of Himachal Pradesh. Mr. Thakur emphasized the need for formulating a visionary 50-year roadmap for the Himachal Pradesh to make it a model state in the country. Union Agriculture Minister Narendra Singh Tomar today said India will take a leading position in production of millets. Mr. Tomar said that the government is taking necessary steps to achieve nutrition security along with food security. Inaugurating the two-day Nutri-Cereal Multi-Stakeholders Mega Convention 3.0 in Hyderabad, the minister said it was upon India's initiative that the United Nations declared year 2023 as the International Year of Millets. He said millets in daily diet will fight malnutrition. Mr. Tomar said central government has announced various packages under the Agriculture Infrastructure Fund worth 1.5 lakh crore rupees to fill the gaps in the agriculture sector.
As our nation celebrates the 75th year of independence, a series of events is being organized by the government as part of Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav. AIR News brings you every day a special program, Azadi Ka Safar, highlighting the importance of the day during the freedom struggle. Let's now listen to our special program, Azadi Ka Safar.
आजादी का अमृत महोत्सव।
Azadi Ka Safar with AIR News, Birth of a Nation. India's glorious freedom struggle is one of the greatest struggles the modern world has ever witnessed. AIR News brings you a glimpse of the struggle every day.
Today we bring you a profile of the great freedom fighter and social activist E.V. Ramasamy, popularly known as Periyar. He was born on 17 September 1879 in Erode in the erstwhile Madras Presidency. Periyar was a rationalist, prolific writer and orator who could communicate with all sections of society effectively. He mobilized people from all walks of life to fight against the British.
In 1919, he joined the Congress under the influence of his close friend C. Rajagopalachari. He was jailed for participating in the non-cooperation movement. Periyar resigned from all the 29 public positions held by him in order to join the freedom movement. He also gave up the family trade and closed the business concern, which was earning 20,000 rupees annually in those days when the price of a single gold sovereign was not even 10 rupees. Periyar rigorously fought for issues related to khadi. Periyar wore khadi clothes himself and encouraged his family to wear as well. He was given a jail sentence for his propagation for khadi and boycott of British goods. Periyar admired Bhagat Singh's political views. Hailing the sacrifice of Bhagat Singh through an editorial in his journal Kudiyarasu on March 29, 1931, he wrote that Bhagat Singh gave his life for the noble cause of showing to India, nay, to the world, the real equality and peace.
Periyar fought for the progress of women and questioned gender inequality prevalent in society. He also fought against child marriage and advocated widow remarriage.
உங்களை காப்பாத்திக்க உங்களுக்கு சக்தி வேணும். இன்னொருத்தன் வீட்டுல போட்டு பூட்டுறது போல அடிமைத்தனம் வேற இல்லை. அந்த காரணத்தினாலே தான் பொம்பளைகளுக்கு இவ்வளவு கெட்ட பேர் எல்லாம் வர்றதுக்கு ஏற்பட்டது. நம்ம நாடு என்னைக்கு பெண்கள் நிலைமை உயர்ந்தோ அன்னைக்கு தான் ஆம்பளைக்கு என்ன கேடு, அவன் எப்படியோ போறான், அதை பத்தி நமக்கு என்ன கவலை.
He encouraged women to actively take part in social movements and politics. He passed away at the age of 97. Periyar tirelessly worked for women's education and raised the issue of 50% reservation for them in all sectors. A staunch believer in gender equality, Periyar is also known as the father of Dravidian movement.
It was on this day in 1940 a great freedom fighter and social reformer, Vinoba Bhave, offered to be the first individual satyagrahi of India's freedom movement. Gandhiji had decided to launch individual satyagraha by which select individuals were to declare publicly that it was wrong to help the British during the Second World War. As a matter of fact, the then Viceroy Linlithgow, without consulting the elected provincial governments of India, declared India at war with Germany on 3rd September 1939. The Indian National Congress objected to it very strongly. Gandhiji was of the opinion that the only worthy effort was to resist the war non-violently. It was left to him to choose the satyagrahis. Vinoba Bhave was the first to offer satyagraha on 17 September 1940 at Wardha. As a consequence of his individual satyagraha, he was jailed thrice during 1940 to 41.
In 1958, Bhave received the first Ramon Magsaysay Award for community leadership for his dedication for the propagation of a new kind of social revolution in India. In 1982, Bhave fell extremely ill and stopped taking food and medicines. He died on 15th November 1982. A year later, he was honored with India's highest civilian award, the Bharat Ratna.
That brings us to the end of this episode of Azadi Ka Safar with AIR News. See you in the next episode tomorrow.
In Spotlight tonight, we will bring a special program on life and times of Prime Minister Narendra Modi. Vadnagar se Vishwa Manch Tak. This can be heard on FM Gold channel and additional frequencies from 9:15 p.m. onwards. This will also be available on our website newsonair.gov.in and on our YouTube channel News on AIR Official. In our bilingual live phone-in program Corona Jagrukta series, Dr. Piyush Ranjan, Department of Medicine, AIIMS, New Delhi, will be with us tonight to answer queries related to Corona and Nipah virus. This can be heard on FM Gold channel and additional frequencies at 9:30 p.m. Listeners can ask questions to the expert on toll-free number 1800-115767 and on telephone number 011-2331-4444. You can also post your queries on our Twitter handle at AIR News Alerts by hashtag AskAIR. This program will also be available on our website newsonair.gov.in and on our YouTube channel News on AIR Official.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi will interact virtually with healthcare workers and beneficiaries of COVID vaccination program on completion of 100% first dose coverage in Goa tomorrow. Prasar Bharati CEO Shashi Shekhar Vempati today launched e-Office Hindi portal at a function in New Delhi for the benefit of the staff for their use in the daily routine work. Senior officials of Prasar Bharati Secretariat were present on the occasion. And now let us take a look at the weather forecast for tomorrow. The national capital Delhi is likely to witness generally cloudy sky with light rain. Temperature will hover between 24 and 33 degrees Celsius. Mumbai will also have generally cloudy sky with light rain. Minimum temperature will be 26 degrees Celsius, while the maximum is expected to be around 32 degrees. Chennai will witness generally cloudy sky with light rain or drizzle. Temperature will vary between 29 and 37 degrees Celsius. Kolkata is likely to observe generally cloudy sky with 1 or 2 spells of rain or thunder showers. Minimum temperature will be 26 degrees Celsius and the maximum will be around 36 degrees. Hyderabad is likely to have generally cloudy sky with light rain. Minimum temperature will be 24 degrees Celsius, while the maximum will be around 33 degrees. Puducherry is expected to have generally cloudy sky with light rain. Temperature will vary between 25 and 38 degrees Celsius. Thiruvananthapuram may have generally cloudy sky with 1 or 2 spells of rain or thunder showers. Minimum temperature will be 24 degrees Celsius, while the maximum will be around 30 degrees. Visakhapatnam will have generally cloudy sky with 1 or 2 spells of rain or thunder showers. The minimum temperature will be 25 degrees Celsius, while the maximum will be around 32 degrees. Port Blair will have generally cloudy sky with 1 or 2 spells of rain or thunder showers. Temperature will vary between 24 and 30 degrees Celsius. Agartala may also see generally cloudy sky with 1 or 2 spells of rain or thunder showers. Temperature will hover between 26 and 31 degrees Celsius. Guwahati will have generally cloudy sky with 1 or 2 spells of rain or thunder showers. Temperature will hover between 25 and 32 degrees Celsius. Most of the cities in the northeast region, including Imphal, Shillong, Aizawl, Kohima, Itanagar and Gangtok, are all likely to witness generally cloudy sky with possibility of rain. Imphal will have a minimum temperature of 20 degrees Celsius and a maximum of around 27 degrees. In Shillong, temperature will hover between 16 and 24 degrees Celsius. In Aizawl, the minimum temperature will be 19 degrees Celsius, while the maximum will be around 26 degrees. And now, before we end the bulletin, the headlines once again. Prime Minister Narendra Modi asks SCO member states to fight against increasing radicalization, which is the root cause of problem for the region. SCO member states stress on the need of an inclusive government in Afghanistan, reaffirm the need to step up joint efforts to prevent terrorism and its financing. India achieves extraordinary feat by administering over 2 crore COVID-19 vaccine doses in a single day, marking the 71st birthday of Prime Minister Narendra Modi. Home Minister Amit Shah says team at the central government is moving ahead with a comprehensive vision which includes development for all. Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman chairs 45th meeting of the GST Council. GST reduced from 12% to 5% on cancer drugs and 7 other medicines reduced rates on COVID medicines extended till the 31st of December. I&B Minister Anurag Thakur calls for collective and synergized initiatives for comprehensive socio-economic development of Himachal Pradesh, and India will take leading position in production of millets, says Agriculture Minister Narendra Singh Tomar. And with that, we end the evening news. Good night.